Mark Kozelek is a singer, songwriter, and guitarist who fronted two bands throughout his career: the Red House Painters from 1988 to 2001, and Sun Kill Moon from 2001 to the present. And he has also released music under his own name as well. He is quite prolific, having released 31 studio albums to date in this time, as well as numerous live albums. His music is largely acoustic, guitar-driven indie rock, with dashes of electric guitar peppered in on occasion. Upon first glance of his songwriting, it's clear that it's very introspective, deeply emotional, very tell-all, and usually quite literal retellings of stories from his younger days. He also has a penchant for covering songs from his youth and infusing them with his own style. In this regard, he is quite unique, with very few songwriters to compare to, save for Nick Drake, Elliott Smith, and Bonnie Prince Billy. Kozelek was raised in Massillon, Ohio, and after high school, he moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where he met future Red House Painters drummer Anthony Koutsos. They formed the Red House Painters in 1988, but after finding trouble getting signed to a label, they relocated to San Francisco, California, where they added guitarist Gordon Mack and bassist Jerry Vessel to their lineup. They were then signed to 4AD by label owner Evo Watts Russell off the strength of their demo, who received it from American Music Club frontman Mark Eitzel. They quickly released their debut album, Down Colorful Hill, in 1992. Highlights from this album include the tracks 24, Medicine Bottle, and Lord Kill the Pain. This was then quickly followed up by a pair of self-titled albums in 1993, affectionately referred to as Roller Coaster and Bridge. Bridge being the outtakes from the already 75-minute long Roller Coaster. Roller Coaster has the standout tracks Grace Cathedral Park, Down Through, Katie Song, Mistress, Things Mean a Lot, Fun House, Take Me Out, Roller Coaster, and Dragonflies. Highlights from Bridge include Evil, Bubble, New Jersey, and Uncle Joe. They followed these two albums up with the Shock Me EP, featuring two covers of the Ace Frehley penned Kiss song and two other original songs. The next full-length album was 1995's Ocean Beach, which signaled a change in the Painters' sound, sounding less claustrophobic and with Kozelek turning down the reverb on his recorded voice. Highlights from Ocean Beach include Summer Dress, San Geronimo, and Drop. After this, guitarist Gordon Mack left and was replaced by Phil Carney. The next Painters album, Songs for a Blue Guitar, was effectively a Mark Kozelek solo album, with him being the only member listed in the liner notes. Highlights on this album include the songs Have You Forgotten, the almost title track Song for a Blue Guitar, Make Like Paper, Feel the Rain Fall, the Yes cover Long Distance Runaround, the Cars cover All Mixed Up, the Paul McCartney and Wings cover Silly Love Songs that Kozelek meshed with Neil Young's Cortez the Killer, and lastly, the second almost title track and the final track on the album, Another Song for a Blue Guitar. 4AD refused to release this album, and they soon dropped the Red House Painters from the label. They offered to release it as a Mark Kozelek solo album, but the Painters had already decided to release it on John Hughes' new label, Supreme Recordings. This proved ultimately a bad choice for the Painters because a series of label mergers left them without a label, and the inability to release their next album, Old Ramon, which was ready to go by early 1998 but wasn't released until 2001, when Kozelek finally bought back the rights to the album and released it under the legendary indie label Sub Pop. Before Old Ramon was finally released, it was regarded as one of the more unfortunate albums to be stuck in limbo. Everybody wanted to hear it, but nobody could. During this time, however, the Painters released a 2-disc greatest hits titled Retrospective, which included unreleased outtakes, demos, and live recordings. And Mark Kozelek also released his first solo material, an EP titled Rock and Roll Singer in 2000, and an album of AC/DC covers titled What's Left of the Moon in 2001. The Red House Painters quietly dissolved after their record label fiasco, and Kozelek started up again under the project name Sun Kill Moon, with occasional inputs from bandmates Koutsos, Vessel, and Carney. The first Sun Kill Moon record, 2003's Ghosts of the Great Highway, is an absolute classic with no skips whatsoever. This is, in my opinion, Mark Kozelek's best record. He continued with an album of Modest Mouse covers in 2005 called Tiny Cities, and then another classic original album in 2008 titled April, with more earworms such as Lost Verses, The Light, Unlit Hallway, Heron Blue, Harper Road, and Like the River. But once again, there are no skippers on this album either. This has been a common theme throughout Mark Kozelek's career to this point. The end of April hints at the sounds of his next album, 2010's Admiral Fell Promises, another solo effort from Kozelek in the same vein as Songs for a Blue Guitar, but this time is a solo album populated by Spanish flamenco-style songs played on a nylon string acoustic guitar. Regarding the album, Kozelek noted, "With this record, I had a vision in mind. I wanted to make something that was very personal, that had a theme and a flow musically." He has subsequently named Admiral Fell Promises as the album he is most proud of making, saying, quote, "Bury me with that album. That album is me at my best, my most focused. It's cohesive, beautiful, and my playing was inspired by the legendary Andres Segovia." After this, his tenure with his former Red House Painters bandmates was complete, and he completely changed up his sound. He took the solo effort of Admiral Fell Promises all the way to its logical conclusion and transformed his lyrics into a stream of consciousness style, taking his already very personal songwriting and now started telling literal tales from his life. These include songs from his youth, songs about his family, songs about the dearly departed, etc. He has kept this sound ever since on numerous studio albums, live albums, and proper solo albums under his name.